Let's dive in there. How early on those first one, two, three creators, how did you land them? Give us the process. What was your strategy, if there was a strategy?
It was about knowing that no one else was helping them because there were no other reps in the space. There were no agents doing this at the time, really. Maybe there were one or two people that were even thinking about this. So it was this kind of underrepresented class of people that were making money. They were creative, they needed the help. And it was like, hey, I'll be there with you. I'll help you. I'll protect you from these problems. I will be the business mind and you'll be the creative mind. And they were happy to say yes because they kind of had no other option. And they're like, oh, someone's coming in to help me, and they'll only take a commission if they make me money. Sure, it's a win-win. And the biggest thing was being there to take things off their plate that they didn't want or need to do, like any kind of thing to do with negotiating or emailing or whatever. And then the way it evolved was once you kind of cover, it's kind of like the hierarchy of needs. Once you cover the base need of making money, then you start to do the next things above that. Then I started to help people with creative. I started to help people with their personal life. If they broke up with their boyfriend, they call you at 11 at night. Like those are the things that started to really turn it into a real thing. And then it grows because someone had a great experience with you. They tell their friend tells their friend. And then fast forward, I had clients in Australia that I never met in person. I had clients in the US that I never met in person. So it kind of all starts with doing a really good job for a couple people and having the right judgment to not do things unethically, to be a good person, to make them feel like you are in it together and you guys trust each other and like build a real partnership. And then once people feel like they have that connection with you, they'll shout you from the rooftop because they'll be so grateful for what you were able to do versus if I had taken the approach of just like trying to milk it for everything I could and make the most amount of money in the shortest period of time, people would smell that and not trust you as much. And, then you just kind of have the bad reputation that it's hard to trade on in the future.
Is this 2015? Is this early 2012, 2015? Where is this at?
This was 2010, 2011 kind of time.
Yeah.
2014 is when I officially moved the business to LA and really started to scale. But I had about between 2010 and 2012, I had about 30 clients of my own, and one or two team members supporting me, but it was chaos. And then 2014, I moved the business to LA from Toronto and hired a team here and then started to like think about the business as a entity and not just me as a person managing people. And that's when things started to really scale from there.
And in 2010, as you're looking at the market, you're looking at all these different platforms. What niche are you looking at saying, hey, this, I really want to, manage these types of people, or I really want to manage these types of creators on this type of platform? Was there a specific goal that you're like, all right, here's the opportunity?
I was a child of YouTube from whenever it launched. It might have been, was it 2006 or something? Whatever it was. And before that, MySpace, like I was very much of the social networks and I loved that whole world. That was my entertainment was YouTube. So I always knew that those people were to me just as important as a regular celebrity. And I was a student of the game in the sense that I observed what they were doing, saw how people were making money, saw how they were growing their audiences, and I saw that fashion, beauty, and lifestyle on YouTube was just exploding at the time. This was when being a beauty vlogger was like crazy. There were so many beauty channels. They were getting the most brand deals of any other creator because the brands were early in beauty and fashion. And it was such a conversion based thing where they were just spending so much more than they would be spending on like a male comedy channel or a prank channel or a science channel or whatever. So I was just like, okay, this is where the opportunity is. I'm obviously not like personally watching them all the time, but I can appreciate that they have an audience. I can appreciate honestly that a lot of the clients I had were easier to work with being like a female lifestyle person than some prank guy that can go get arrested one day. So I was like, this
Seriously.
is a great niche. They're converting, they're making money, they want the help, they want to just focus on creative. They're not trying to only do the business side. And it just started, the few clients that I had started with started in that space and it just kept working that I was like, why change it if it's working? And then over time, obviously in the last like 15 years, we've expanded into other categories, but the female fashion beauty lifestyle was just a great business. And the creators that were making that content were great to work with and appreciative and like collaborative. And it was like I had the privilege of my first few clients were such great people that it made me want to keep being a manager. Whereas I'm sure if my first client I ever had was not a nice person, I wouldn't have continued to do this.